Just clarify, are you equating GB News with Russia Today?
Well, they both spread disinformation, yes. I'm not surprised you're frowning. I agree with you if that's disapproval. I thought it was an extraordinary thing for him to say. The climate crisis, the world at boiling point, rising sea levels, dying polar bears, it's all lies.
How did SNP MP John Nicolson really expose the Tories and GB News on impartiality? Now, this is part 2 of Wednesday the 22nd of May, Culture, Media and Sports Committee meeting between the brilliant John Nicolson and the Culture Secretary Lucy Frazer. And in part 1, John was exposing Lucy Frazer's hypocrisy over the BBC and Gaza. Here, he really shows how crooked Lucy Frazer and the Tories really are. Also, his damning final reply is well worth watching too.
This is what the Prime Minister said. He said, I think all elements of the media industry have to be subject to the same impartiality rules. I think he's right about that. I think it should be industry-wide. But you've just said earlier on in your evidence that the BBC has a special burden. So which is it? Are all branches of the media subject to the same rules, and should they be? Or are some branches of the media subject to special burdens that other branches of the broadcast media don't have?
All public service broadcasters have particular duties. All those who are governed by the Broadcasting Code have particular duties. The BBC is special because it is governed by the Charter. And under the Charter, it has particular responsibilities. And it is governed by the Charter because it is funded by the taxpayer. It therefore has specific and important duties.
Okay. Now, your predecessors rightly condemned Russia Today as a channel which spouted disinformation and argued that no Member of Parliament should ever be in Russia Today. I agreed with all of them. I was offered lots of money by Russia Today. They would throw money at MPs to appear. I always said no. It was a mouthpiece for Putin. It sprouted propaganda, and no self-respecting MP should ever have appeared on it. So what do you think about your colleagues who appear on GB News as some of their fellow presenters spout disinformation?
Can I just clarify, are you equating GB News with Russia Today?
Well, they both spread disinformation, yes. One is subject to Ofcom rules. The other has been taken off air by Ofcom for repeated breaches of Ofcom rules. And we know GB News is going down that road at the moment by defiant breaches of Ofcom. In fact, your colleague, Mr. Mogg, did a long rant direct to camera yesterday in which he said that he didn't believe that GB News should any longer be subject to Ofcom rules, that it should be independent of Ofcom. So I'm not surprised you're frowning. I agree with you if that's disapproval. I thought it was an extraordinary thing for him to say. But how do you feel about your colleagues popping up on GB News alongside spreaders of COVID and other disinformation?
As I explained to your colleague, Steve Brown, GB News has chosen to be regulated by Ofcom. And
chosen to be?
Yes, it doesn't need to be. Not all broadcasters need to be regulated. It's chosen to be regulated by Ofcom, and Ofcom therefore regulates it. If there are any breaches, those are matters for Ofcom.
Well, not if, there are breaches.
There have been breaches, and Ofcom have looked into them.
Right, but I'm asking specifically about your colleagues who sit beside spreaders of disinformation. Let me quote one of them, Neil Oliver. That's the long-haired guy with the scarves. So he said the following: the climate crisis, the world at boiling point, rising sea levels, dying polar bears, it's all lies. So he comes out with this nonsense, and then up pops Mogg and Co. To give the channel some credibility. I put it to you that in the same way that you and your colleagues condemned those MPs who sat beside spreaders of disinformation from Russia Today, you should also be condemning your colleagues who sit beside people who are COVID deniers and climate change deniers. They shouldn't be on that channel.
Well, that's your view, I would say.
What's your view?
My view is that GB News is regulated by Ofcom, and
as was Russia Today.
As was a whole, as is ITV is regulated by Ofcom, as is a whole host of other things, and it's Ofcom's responsibility, as you are aware, to make sure that it does its job, and that is Ofcom's responsibility.
Sure, but the difference, of course, is that you condemned MPs who appeared on Russia Today because the channel spread disinformation. You're choosing not to do so with colleagues who appear on GB News. Finally, can I just turn to on the subject of disinformation, because this was covered briefly in the Commons, but I don't think got the coverage perhaps that it should have got. An investigation revealed that 36 groups with 38,000 members, three of whom were administrators believed to be two Central Office Conservative staffers and an activist who helped run an MP's digital campaign, spread the most appalling poison about the Mayor of London and others. I'd just like to get an update from you about what has happened to these Conservatives. How did the investigation go? Have any of them been sanctioned? Have any of them been sacked?
I think you're talking about an internal party matter, and if you want to put questions to the chair of the party, I think it's appropriate.
No, it's not. It's not an internal party matter. It's obviously immensely important to all of us if people are spreading racial hatred about the Mayor of London and others, operating out of a party headquarters and not being sanctioned. That is not a matter just for the party chair. That's a matter for all of us as parliamentarians.
John, I'm not sure in which capacity you think this is an issue that I should be addressing at the meeting. If you want to clarify that, I'm very happy to answer.
I do. I want to ask you as Secretary of State, who must be concerned with the issue of disinformation, and like all of us as parliamentarians, concerned with the abuse of politicians and racial hatred. I don't think you have to compartmentalise to answer the question.
Thank you for your clarification. Disinformation is a matter for the Secretary of State for Science and Technology.
Well, we also handled in this committee. One of the groups shared an image displaying the notorious white supremacist slogan, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." Another alleged conspiracies by Jewish people to attain world domination. And it was Conservative Party activists and staff who were the people who were monitoring those groups. I've invited you to condemn it, and I note that you haven't. I'll return to the chair.
Yes, according to Lucy Frazer, the BBC should be completely impartial and do as they're told and do their bidding, I suppose. When Tories are sharing a platform with climate deniers and other conspiracy cranks, what's wrong with that? Nothing to see here. Move along, move along. Absolutely brilliant, John Nicolson. Well done. What do you guys think? Let me know down below, my friends. Have a fantastic weekend and take care.